Hey everybody, this is Ann Darda. I am a professional psychic and teacher in Western New York. I have a couple of classes coming up that you all might be interested in. Tomorrow evening is my basic ritual craft class. This is how to create basic rituals and what types of items you might want, how to do that in different capacities. This is $20 a person. It's online. It is at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. So if you are interested in that, you need to contact me as soon as possible. The registration for this class closes tomorrow by noon. And then on Saturday is my in-person sewing magic class in Dansville, New York. And that is $30 a person. We're going to be looking at different ways that you can make magic with your sewing and all different types of crafts. Okay. So, something that I work with a lot in my spiritual path concerning Avalon is the labyrinth. And so this video is the Labyrinths of Life. A lot of people think labyrinths and mazes are the same when they actually are not. A labyrinth is one entrance, one exit. And it is a circular, singular path. It's often circulatory design in some capacity, whereas a maze has maybe multiple entrances and exits. You think of like a corn maze at Samhain, and there's maybe monsters or things jumping out at you or whatever. So this is not for scaring purposes. This is specifically for meditation. So labyrinths are ancient patterns found around the world that were man-made using things like hedges, rocks, or other natural objects. These patterns and labyrinths are found throughout, not just throughout Europe, but also India, China, all kinds of different places, Egypt. These are used for meditation purposes because it is a walking meditation. So it winds back and forth, and then you eventually get into the center. So the center part, we often call it the prayer room, where it's the center and it's a little bit bigger of a space that you can leave offerings, say prayers, do some basic rituals, some type of thing like that. Back when I lived in Tallahassee, Florida with the Red Hills Pagan Council, we would have a yearly labyrinth that was temporary, wasn't permanent, but we would have oracles in the center of the labyrinth to speak truth to those who walked in and out of the labyrinth itself. With the rise of Christianity, monks took over the ancient labyrinths and made that part of their own spiritual path. Most labyrinths are now found at various types of churches, indoors or outdoors, but they often allow anybody to come in and use their labyrinths. So it's just a matter of trying to find some labyrinths in your area. Walking the labyrinth, you want to look down at your feet. You're not supposed to be like strolling around. You're not walking through it, just walking through the lines and stuff. You are walking the path itself, staying within the boundary lines, and you're just focusing on clearing your mind first. Just releasing anything that is bothersome to you, or your daily challenges, buying grocery, whatever it is. You're just releasing all of that stuff as you're slowly walking the labyrinth, okay? And once you get to the center, as I was saying, you can do prayers, you could do offerings, you could have different types of rituals, such as the oracles that I talked about earlier. And then when you're done, you don't just walk right out, walking over the lines. You walk back out the way that you came in. And oftentimes, that's when you are contemplating. Maybe you had some type of message from your spirit guides. Maybe you did a tarot reading in the center and you're just contemplating the meaning of that reading, or whatever it might be. But the walking back is equally as important as the walking in. The walking in is the clearing of the mind, and the walking out is more of the contemplative aspect of whatever it was that you faced in the center. And the classical or the Cretan labyrinth, that is what most people think of, the Greek labyrinth that held the Minotaur in the center, is often what people think of when they think of the labyrinth. And I wonder if the Minotaur was actually just a symbol of the center, and having to face maybe some dark things that you're personally struggling with. It may not be an actual literal monster of some sort, but an actual, just you. Maybe there's a mirror in the center, and that might be totally terrifying, that you actually have to face yourself in some capacity or whatever it might be. But regardless, the labyrinth can be seen as a pilgrimage of some sort, metaphorical, physical, all of these different things. And even if you don't use it as a spiritual tool, it is still seen by scientists and doctors as a form of stress reducing and lowering of your blood pressure and things like that, because you are just being very mindful of just walking that path, and that's the only thing that you need to be worrying about. Okay, so it's a very helpful tool that if you really struggle with sitting down and meditating, deep meditations, things like that, that maybe finding a labyrinth in your area might actually be a way for you to try to do a different type of meditation where you are walking, so your body is going. You're not, like having to you're not worrying about falling asleep or something like that, but it's shutting off all of the talking in your brain. It's getting to the center part of yourself in the center of the labyrinth. So let me make sure I got everything in here. So I hope that this is helpful to you, and I hope that you can find a labyrinth in your area. And if you can't find one, you can always create one in your yard or at a park or something, as long as it's of organic material that can be picked up and cleaned up. Okay. So I hope that this is helpful to you, and I will see you all next week. All right. Bye-bye.